Somebody asked me the other day, can North Carolina State go beat Clemson at Clemson? I said, yes, they can.
Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the. Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the ladder while you in need of a shovel. I can do this all day. I can do this all night. I can do this all day. I can do this all night.
Yes, Wolfpack fans, I could also do this all day. I could do it all night. It is game week, Clemson. I'm fired up, and I cannot wait for Saturday. This is the biggest game State's played in, and God, I don't know how long. It's been a long time. And I feel good about it. That's wild, man. I'll tell you this, and I agree with the Logan clip, and I'll play the full clip for you in a little bit here, but I agree with it. They can win. I think they're going to win. I'll go out right now. I've been saying all week, people think I'm crazy. State's going to go down there and win this game. Let that sink in for a little bit, man. We're going to, perpetual State fan, have seen it all, been through it all. I think we're going to go to Clemson. We're going to win. I think we're a good matchup for them. We're a bad matchup for them if you're a Clemson fan. And I feel good. I feel like we're going to bring our best game. And I feel like State's going to – this is the opportunity. The Vegas line came out and State's, in some books opened as a 20-point underdog. That's free money. There's no way we're losing by 20 points. That's insane. That's perception, people not paying attention, not looking at the teams on the field, looking at maybe the numbers, just results, or I don't know what it is. But, man, that was a bit eye-opening. If I'm Dave Dorn, I'm plastering that all over the place. Nobody thinks you can win. They don't think you can win. The only guy who thinks you can win is some random-ass podcaster. He thinks you can win. Vegas doesn't think you can win. I was like, 20 points is insane. The other thing that's insane is game day going to Pullman. People got worked up about it. My thought was, and I said this online, that I don't really care. I think they would have gone to Clemson. They would have talked about how great Clemson is. They would have showed all the Clemson facilities. I don't know if that gives us the exposure. What's more annoying is that they gave Ohio State Purdue that 3:30 time slot. That 8 p.m. time slot, and gave us a 3:30 regional. And I get it. My buddy CT pointed out, Ohio State's the draw. Yeah, just annoying. I get it. I think you got the de facto ACC championship game, 2 undefeated teams, 2 top 15 teams, and you got Ohio State versus a 3-3 Purdue. They're going to slaughter them. So, I don't know. I wanted to read this clip, and I'm sure they don't mind, but I hope they don't mind. Steve Williams from Inside Pack Sports wrote this early in the week, and it's kind of his analysis or initial thought about the State-Clemson game. So there are 2 games in 2018 that I think could be relevant to NC State. Clemson's road win over Texas A&M and their home win against Syracuse. Texas A&M threw for 430 yards on the Tigers, and they really exploited the Tigers' defense down the field, particularly in the middle of the field. I remember thinking as I watched the game that Clemson looked somewhat vulnerable in that area that NC State excels. Syracuse also had some success throwing for 250. Both of these teams had a legitimate shot at winning those games. No other team that Clemson has faced has any semblance of a passing attack. As for NC State, I would argue that the Pack will have the most complete passing game the Tigers have faced all season. He goes on, the biggest question facing NC State is can they keep Clemson's defensive line off of Ryan Finley? The Tigers will break out the best front 4 that State will see all season. The Wolfpack's offensive line has been stellar thus far, but they face nothing like what they'll see out of Clemson. That's a pretty big if. State can keep Finley clean. I think they can take advantage of the Tigers' defensive backs and linebackers. The Tigers are going to struggle to score points. I think odds favor. Should the Pack win this game, that'll be a track meet. I don't see any way State comes away with a win in a defensive struggle. One other factor I think could play into State's favor. The Pack has given Clemson all they've wanted the last 2 years. State gave the game away in 2016, and my red-tinted glasses saw the Pack get a complete hose job from the ACC refs last year. Bottom line is the Wolfpack should not go into this game intimidated. They've proven they can play with the Tigers, so confidence shouldn't be an issue. It'll take a damn near perfect performance, perfect game to pull this off. But this team has surprised me in 2018. Can they finally put it all together and shock the world in just under 2 weeks? Now, I think Steve Williams is a great analyst, and I think he's spot on here. State is a very tough matchup for Clemson if they can keep Finley upright. And I know everybody talks about the Clemson defensive line, but you looked last year, and they had relatively the same defensive line, albeit a year younger. And they sacked Finley once, and that was, Finley took himself down in that play. So I feel like we're a good matchup there. I'm not as big a concern there. My biggest concern is Travis Etienne. He's averaging 9.2 yards a run, has 12 TDs, 11 rushing TDs, 10 runs of 20 or longer. I mean, that guy can play. He's fast. They are going to have to make Trevor Lawrence beat them. And I think that's what they're going to do. If I'm a coach, and there's probably no secret there that, keep this dude in front of you. Don't let him break off a big one. Don't let him pull out what Travis Feaster did last year in that back-breaking 90-yard run he had. That's the biggest concern to me. I think otherwise State's a good matchup. And I think we'll play our best game. I don't think we're going to come down there and lay a stinker. I don't think we're going to lay that egg or have those Boston College moments that we had last week. I think they got that out of their system. This should focus them. So that's my opinion of it. I think we're going to do well. I think we're going to play well. I think the Pack's going to win. As Steve Logan said, yes, they can. And I think they're going to do it. Getting into some stuff from the fans. Actually, let me go ahead and play that full Logan clip for you because I think it's interesting. People are going to be interested in hearing it.
North Carolina State go beat Clemson. At Clemson, I said, yes, they can. They've proven they've got the DNA for it. They're not scared of Clemson. They've been down, just kick a field goal, 2 years ago?
And their kicking game is a lot better this year.
The kicking game is
with a true
stabilized.
freshman.
The other thing that's happened karma-wise for NC State is they didn't have to play that West Virginia game, which has allowed their defense to kind of gel. And for some reason, they look like they're playing better football right now than they ever did last year. Now, that's a mouthful because they really haven't played a dynamic offense like they're getting ready to entertain with Clemson.
Right.
But I really think things are setting up if they just believe, and I think they do, and go down there and don't blink and find a way to beat Clemson on the last play of the game. You're not going to beat them 34-7. The only way you're going to win a football game like that is a field goal on the last play of the game or a touchdown or a defensive stand. It's going to come down to the last play of the game if they play it right.
Now, I don't know about the last play of the game, but they can win. I think people who are watching this program know it. So that's how I feel. Good to see a respected football mind like Coach Logan recognize that as well. Last play of the game, I don't know if my heart can take that, but I'd like to see maybe a 34-24 Pack win. I mean, that's probably more like 27-24, but I'll take it. I think they make Lawrence make some mistakes. Now to get some questions, comments from the folks. Old Man Par Charles, thank you. Compare this team and last year's. You think that 2018 edition Wolfpack is more poised and more mature? Yeah, I think they are. I think they're better across the board. You might have lost a bunch of talent on defensive line, but you have nickels and corners and safeties who are more athletic. I think they're just better players. I start to see the young guys that Doran recruited a couple of years ago starting to step up in those positions, and I think that's a little bit of a difference maker. There's a lot less liabilities. I'd love to see a little better coverage out of Engel, but Dravia's right, and I forgot who even played nickel last year. They weren't lockdown cover guys either, but I think across the board you're seeing better play, and particularly in the linebackers. I think I talked about it last week or the week before, that even with losing that experience that you lost with 4-year starters Arius Moore and Jared Fernandez, Jermaine Pratt is a beast. He's athletically a freak, and it's a net upgrade at that position. I think that's also taking a little bit of pressure off the defensive line. But the defensive line, they don't have the names, but they're performing up to par. I think Roseboro, in particular, this game is going to be a chance for him to make a name for himself. He's going against left tackle Mitch Hyatt, who's been a starter since his true freshman year down there, and that's no small feat. I expect that to be a fun matchup to watch. If you're into just watching one-on-one matchups, if you can kind of look away from the ball for a little bit, watch how Roseboro and Hyatt go at it. I think that's going to be really, really good. I do think this team is more mature. I think you've seen that already, being able to go on the road and win the games, being able to win these games that are, they didn't play well, and they're still able to win. I think that's a sign of maturity. I just think that's it's a good thing for us. Dustin's input here. Don't put faith in ESPN's prediction crap. They gave State 10% chance of winning. That's only 5% higher than the 5% chance it gives Tennessee to beat Alabama. There's no way odds are that low. It's a strange year when Dustin's got some optimism. So, yeah, I agree. He's referring to a tweet that went around early in the week and showed the ESPN's schedule of win percentage. They put how good of a chance you have to win the rest of your games, and they label each game. And they gave State it's like 10.1% chance of beating Clemson. Yeah, it's crap. James Cunningham, no matter what the result, I'm worried about the Syracuse game. If they win, I'm worried about the hangover effect. They lose, I'm afraid Clemson will beat them twice. I don't give a crap about that. I am not worried about that at all. Maybe I should be, but I'm not. And I think that's a little bit of a defeatist attitude that we've seen in the past from State and State fans, but we're changing that. That the program is evolving from that. Now, everybody has those hangover losses. Everybody goes through that. All the good teams do it. But let's say State beats Clemson. That gives them a 2-game cushion. Syracuse has lost twice now. That have the tiebreaker over Clemson. So even if they go up to Syracuse and have that hangover game and lose, they're still in the driver's seat in the Atlantic. And maybe that knocks a little bit of sense into them. And that is, I don't know. I'm not concerned. That's why I'm not concerned about it. You got to take care of business here. If they don't, I think they'll rally around it and they'll get that. They'll get back on track and end up. Teaser to my last question. We'll get back to this question, but I'm not worried about that hangover effect. Tremaine Kidd, are we turning the corner as a program? Is it possible that defensively we're not rebuilding but reloading, like premier football programs do? At any rate, when we beat Clemson, it will prove that we have officially turned the corner as a program. Yes, and yes. I think we've all talked about this before. I think we're getting to that point where they are reloading. And I'm not saying they're going to do that at every position, but you can bring in a lot of talent on your defensive line when you lose a bunch of defensive linemen, and you have talent that is excelling at other positions that is making up for it. And then you bring in a guy like Pratt, who's now a starter at linebacker, and is elevating everything around him. And yeah, I think that's it. I think you're starting to see the makings of a real program. And maybe that's a little bit too optimistic for some people, but I don't care. I think that's the direction we're going. The recruiting has proven that. I think everything is moving in that direction, and it's going to culminate in us going down to Clemson and winning. I'm confident we're going to win that game. I've been wrong before, but not in this case. William Dietrich. Opening spread is crazy. Top 4, not likely even if State wins out. Lack of top 25 wins. Win or lose. Clemson's still a great shot at New York 6 if they win otherwise. Can't imagine a 3-loss Coastal team being picked over a 1-loss State, but beat Clemson, lose ACC champ, then no November 6th. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I think if you beat Clemson and you're 11-0, we wouldn't have that 12th game because we would be playing the ACC championship. 11-0 going to the ACC championship. It's going to be really hard to keep State out of the top 4 the way the teams are falling lately. Now I think that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but you can see it's moving that direction, and you don't need many wins to be. Maybe State does, right? Maybe State needs a few more wins to change that perception and to sneak in there. But I think historically you don't need that many wins, top 25 wins to garner one of those top spots. I don't think so. Losing the ACC championship game, yeah, I still think we get a New Year's 6 at large. I would guess. I mean, a lot of things depend on how the rest of it plays out and who beats us and where they end up. Pac-12 stinks. They're all going to beat each other up. I can't imagine them taking the extra spots. And you never know what the playoff committee is going to do, and that has influence over it. Who knows? William Dietrich also says, if Dunn hits a game-winning field goal, he will go down as the greatest kicker in State history no matter what happens the rest of his career. It's funny, but it's absolutely correct. Yeah, that would be insanity. That would be absolute insanity. I mean, they'd build a statue for him. Just crazy. Dustin's lock of the week, actually, if anybody wants. UK minus 11 against Vandy. I don't know. I've been awful this year. I've been on record saying I've been absolutely awful at my picks. I usually feel like I'm pretty good at it, but this year's just been really bad, so don't. So to trust Dustin, not me. Yeah, I got a couple other comments that I forgot to record in my notes here, but Tremaine Kidd also said, one thing that is different from previous years is that players expect to beat Clemson. The culture is changing. We've shown that we can play with them. I think that's – I mean, if you're paying attention at all, nobody's concerned. Nobody is intimidated like that. The State has had Clemson on the ropes. Should have won, could have won, however you want to phrase it. I don't know. But the last 2 years at least, but going back to the Underwood hose job, I mean, they've had it. They've had opportunities. Charlie May, nervous, scared, sick, all the above. I got a lot of GIF responses, which I'm happy with. I appreciate that, y'all. William Farrow, after week 7, nationally, this game could go anywhere. We have to start early, though. Still not strong in the third quarter, scoring-wise. Lock of the week, Ohio State by 3 scores. Upset watch, Michigan State over Michigan, I guess they play this week. Feelings, not sleeping this week. Too many emotions prior to this game. I feel you, man. I am jacked up for this game. I got a big birthday coming up, too, but I'm more excited about this game. Joshua Peters, Clemson is averaging more points per game than the Pack. State D will have to be stout, and O will have to score TDs in the red zone, not field goals. Have to protect the ball. Should be a great game. Yeah, I was texting with somebody this week, and they brought that point. Red zone needs to get better. They need to kick field goal. Score touchdowns and not kick field goals in the red zone. And I was telling him, like, I wonder how much of that is by design early in this year, not being aggressive in the red zone and getting done some reps, some in-game reps leading up to the conference play and things like that. That would be an interesting question. That would be an interesting question to ask. Or I don't know if they'd ever answer that straight up, but off the record, I wonder if that's been the strategy. David Regitz, Seawolf Pack. Pack 30, Clemson 27. Dunn hits the go. Wow, that's some bad typing. Dunn hits go ahead field goal, leaving 1.3 seconds on the clock with one turnover. Clemson connects on a couple plays. Hux and Roof hit them with an unseen combo move. Pack seals with an IT. I'm not sure what you were trying to say there, but you got the Pack winning, so good for you. My man Clay, we got the Clemson's full attention this year with them having a bye as well. We are the toughest conference opponent this year, not looking ahead. Yeah, maybe so. But at the same token, it's just another game for Clemson. They get everybody's best shot, while it's a big game for us. So I don't know. I'm sure they'll be paying attention. Dabo's not. He's not going to let them overlook us. But I'm not sure how much credit they're going to give us. I don't know. Lisa Franklin, hopefully for a win, but if we do usual third quarter slide, Clemson will put us away. Yeah, that's a concern too. They got to play better in the third. We've talked about that for a while. I'm not going to beat that horse too much more. And they've shown signs of life. I don't know what it is with the halftime adjustments or lack of, or the way they come out in the third quarter. I'm sure it's pass outs, as half of y'all would say. I think there's more to it. Stick Wolf. All I know is they have to cover us, pal. I couldn't say any better. I think that's about right. I'll end it with that one. Again, feel good about it. I don't know why, but I do. And I think we're a good match. I do know why. I don't know. Take that back. I do know why. Pack's a tough matchup for Clemson. This team is legit. People start believing it's legit. I'm going to leave you with this question, and I'm going to talk. I got another episode this week. Hopefully, if it works out, I'm going to bring this up. We'll talk about it. But Pack ends the year 9-3. Think about that one. Means they win 4 of the last 7 versus Wake, FSU, Wake, Louisville, ECU, Cuse, Clemson, and UNC. Is that good or bad? Let me know what you think about that one. Think about that question. 4 of 7, 9-3. 9-3, beginning of the year, everybody would have jumped on it. If somebody offers you 9-3 right now, are you taking it? If the Pack finishes 9-3, is that good or bad? I'll give you my thoughts on that one with my special episode. I'm going to try to record later this afternoon with a special guest. Stay tuned. As always, thanks for listening. Go Pack. Beat Clemson.
Yes, they can.
Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the. Keep it on the level. Keep it on the level. I'm climbing up the ladder while you in need of a shovel. I can do this all day. I can do this all night.